Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Happy Easter, everyone. So I want to update you. There's been an upgrade. New information has been coming in. One of the people who was a member who participated in two of our resoc, a sound healer named passed away unexpectedly. He was in his late 40s. A gong healer, and his girlfriend had asked me to start doing prayers to help guide him. So I started doing the Tibetan Book of the Dead prayer, the Great Liberation Through Hearing prayers. And in the process of doing this prayer for the past 4 days now, it shifted some big things for me. I had listened to the recording by Richard Gere's multiple times. I've gotten a lot of insights and information I thought, but in actually provided the bardo or the support. And the way it works is that when somebody transitions, the state of transitioning between one state of being alive and dying and going into rebirth, creates, they call the transition from one state to another the intermediate state. And that intermediate state is a transition, okay, that allows, that kind of like gives sometime an opportunity for you to perceive the world in a different way. The Tibetan Book of the Dead catalogs, in general, 6 bardos. There's the bardo at the moment before death, when you're dying and going into the afterlife. There's the bardo of dharmata, which is the bardo that occurs when the next day after that event occurs and going for 49 days. Then there is the bardo of becoming. Once you have examined your life and you've selected where you're going to go, you select which place you're going to reincarnate that would be the most favorable for you to work out your dharma. Then there is the bardo of birth, which is when you select your actual parents and family situation. Then there is the bardo of there is the bardo of dreams, and then there's the bardo of samadhi, or the bardo of meditation. Because during meditation, you go from being awake to being into a transcendental state. Bardo are marked by a couple of experiences, and they are all the same no matter what the state of the bardo you're in. It is that you're transitioning, as they say in the book, it's an intermediary state. You're transitioning from one awareness into a different kind of awareness. And typically speaking, that transition occurs by you losing consciousness, letting go of your 5 senses. For example, when you're sleeping, the bardo of dream, you transition from being awake, and as you're getting awake and you're getting tired, your senses begin to shut down. You relax so completely that your sight is gone. You faint, you black out. Your sense of conscious awareness goes blank, you black out, and then a dream begins at some point later, and you don't know how you got into the dream. You just somehow get into a dream. So it's important for us to kind of like be aware of the various stages of the bardo and to know how, and the reason it's important is because going from 3D into 5D is an extended transition to the bardo. What the world is going right now is a state of, we are collectively in an intermediary state. And in fact, anytime we transition from one thing one state of awareness to another, they're a characteristic of the bardo that actually occurs. Keeping this in mind, I want to bring to your attention the fact that we are constantly, that transition from one state of being into the next, it's important for us to be aware that that this bardo state is an important step in shifting of awareness. I want to alert you to the fact that the idea, aside from the fact that you lose consciousness and then somehow you find yourself in a vivid experience, whether it is in the bardo of dharmata, which is the bardo between life and death, you have these vivid experiences that are so sharp and so vivid that they overwhelm you, or you end up having different other kind of experiences where you transition, you go into an experience where your awareness, when you enter the vivid experiences, what then follows is that suddenly you have very powerful jolting doubt, because what you used to believe in before in the former state, or being challenged by a series of experiences that are trying to tell you that the way you used to identify yourself, it's not the way that this experience is trying to lead you into. And therefore, it's very jolting, it's very confusing, and very chaotic. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Bardo Todol, talks about all of the states that are in between. And in the process of me saying this prayer for this man, I had multiple shifts of awareness into what I thought were true to me at the moment, or now shifting me into an awareness that was not there before. For example, very clearly for me right now, I am becoming aware that what I had, particularly as it relates, for example, to the monadic merger that we have been doing. I had been training you for the past 3 classes about the kind of awareness that you need to have to be present. We talked about last week about this simple exercise of asking query and asking yourself, am I awake or am I dreaming? Am I dreaming or am I awake? And asking yourself this multiple times throughout the day. And the process of doing this, it kind of jolts you back into your body, into an awareness of self that may not have been there before. For example, you may not have known that you were completely half asleep even while you're awake. Many of us are withdrawing because the experience, the external experience that we're having right now collectively on the planet is so out of the box scary that many of us are withdrawing either into the past or the future or some type of fantasy or reverie where we are not present in our body. And the whole point of the Bardo experience, according to this very specific traditional teaching, is to allow you to become awake and in your body at all times so that you don't escape by trying to run away from the present. So by asking these questions, am I dreaming or am I awake? It causes you into a moment of self-evaluation. And that self-inquiry and that self-evaluation begin to jolt you back into the present. It begins to pull you into your body and cause you to be present right now. I had also talked about the nape of the neck exercise, where there is a point in the crevice in the middle of your head that is called the medulla oblongata. This is where the brain stem connects to the inside of your brain. And that area is often referred to as the mouth of God. It is a location where we absorb most of the prana or universal life force. It is where the indestructible atoms of our body actually exist. And this is where universal life force coming from source penetrate and enter into our body. And by doing the nape of the neck exercise and rotating our eyes upwards and looking at the back of the neck inward, inside our head and our skull, and trying to look, gazing at it, we create a visual connection, because that point at the nape of the neck called the medulla oblongata is highly connected to the third eye. They are connected together. And by rotating your third eye back into that location, you're creating a link. You're trying to awaken it. And more prana will begin to flow, more self-awareness, more presence will begin to be created in your life. The reason I'm saying this is because in the teaching of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and also the Dream Yoga, there's a class in Dream Yoga that I will be teaching tomorrow night for the 12 weeks, a class I have not taught in over 20 years. So that class in the Dream Yoga, I want to emphasize the importance of that class. That class on the Dream Yoga is about us finding, creating a kind of a presence that it must exist in all Bardo state. The key is to have conscious immortality. Because when a dream starts, we don't remember how we got to the dream. We just know all of a sudden we find ourselves in a room and there are people there, something is happening, and the imagery and because the dream activate a certain part of our brain where our visual cortex at the back of our head is activated, and it creates a very profound, vivid awareness as if it was really alive. There are lots of physiological changes that occurs in the body. There are chemicals that are in seesaw relationship to each other that causes also temporary paralysis while we're dreaming, so that we can become immobile while the dream is occurring. Otherwise, we would sleepwalk in the dream because the dream becomes so vivid. So all of this happening at the moment of the dream, many of us find ourselves subjected or being reactive to what's happening in the dream, or if for that matter, in the bardo between life and death. We are simply subjected by the experience, but we are not in control or in charge of the experience. We cannot critically think while we're going through the experience to realize this is a dream. I'm making this doesn't really scare me, because if you have a feeling, an emotional fear, if fear becomes so real, you actually believe the threat. Whether the bardo is in between death and rebirth, or the bardo is a dream bardo, you actually believe it to be true. So the idea of mastery is to create an experience where you can have you can enter into any bardo state without passing out, without losing consciousness and not realizing that you're having a projection of imagery of whatever is going on is nothing more than a projection. and that you as a sentient being, as a sovereign and sentient being, have not changed. And it takes a while for that awareness to grow. So the query I had asked you to do several times throughout the day to ask, am I dreaming or am I awake, will help with that. The nape of the neck exercise will also help with that. But thirdly, I'm going to go over a latest download and information that I just received that will help activate and create this in a very strong and powerful way. And it is connected basically to how we experience, how we know and experience what's happening in the merger. Any questions, any comments so far? If I'm going too fast, you want me to clarify something, just let me know. Because it's a big review. These are topics we've covered before.
A quick question, Pierre.
Yes.
You mentioned the indestructible atoms.
Yes.
So they are in this area and they are around the upper heart as well, right?
I'm sorry, the indestructible atom or in the medulla oblongata and where else? What did you say?
The upper heart, is there something in the upper heart as well, right?
They might exist, yes, they exist in it's actually the coherence between that part of ourselves and the upper heart that actually create our sense of who we are.
Right, okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yep.
So now, having said this, when I did the monadic merger with you and described it and taught you how to do it, I use what is the most known way of describing the experience that we needed to have, which is to imagine that you're sitting in the middle of a clock with 12 o'clock in front of you. The clock is on the floor, 6 o'clock behind you, 3 o'clock to your right, left, right shoulder, 9 o'clock to the left. And the other hands are in between. But in truth, it is not a clock. It is a mandala, which is a symbol for unity that the Buddhist tradition and the Buddhist practices have been using for centuries. I'm going to share my screen with you to show you a typical mandala. It's an artwork that is created with a tremendous amount of sacred geometry involved. And the Buddhist monks spent hours upon hours. I remember one time, former World Trade Center, the Tibetan Lama was there, and the Buddhist monks spent hours and hours doing a centering of a mandala. It must have been 2 days. They were working on it day and night. And it was stunning. And then when it was done, they did the ceremony, and then the sand drawing was wiped away. It was on the first floor of one of the towers of the World Trade Center. I remember that very vividly because I went to one of the ceremonies. So if you notice in this instance, if you, let's say in front of you up here would be 12 o'clock, but instead of having 12 hands, there are only 8. So you have, this would be 12, this would be 6, this would be 3 o'clock, this would be 9 o'clock. And then in between here, the geometry, the interlaced geometry, there is a point here. So there are only 8 points to this geometry. But it's not the only, this is an 8 lotus petal, and there's a specific reason and deity they are calling, an energy they're trying to capture with this mandala. The mandalas are specific to higher geometry and higher purpose, divine purpose that they're trying to capture. Many of them are different, they have different pattern, and all of the pattern, everything that's in it is there for a very specific higher cosmic geometry purpose, okay? There are others that have 16 points. There are others that have 26 points or 24 points. There are multiple others that are also available. I want to share with you, I'm going to stop the screen sharing this image now. I want to share a different image, which is a mandala for Vishnu that has actually 12 points. Okay, this is above here would be, of course, there's a square. If you look at it, there's a circle in the middle. The deity Vishnu is in the middle, and then at 12 o'clock here, and Vishnu, by the way, is the energy of the Christ. Okay, so Vishnu is sitting here, and at 12 o'clock here, you have, instead of one being, there are two beings there. There's a Buddha and the Buddha's consort. 1 o'clock, there's another Buddha and the Buddha's consort. 2 o'clock, a Buddha and the Buddha's consort. A Buddha and the Buddha's consort. And all 12 points of the clock, there are two beings. And I want to alert you to the similarity that exists in this scenario to the 24 elders that surround the throne of grace. If you remember when we first started doing the merger, teaching you the merger 2 years ago, as we were doing the merger, many of you were feeling electrical shock around your head, sensation of things zapping you and moving. And I remember telling you about the 24 cranial nerves, which correspond to the 24 elders that surround the throne of grace, which is a passage from the Bible. Now, I want to read for you, as I keep this image up, part of the Revelation 4 that talks about the 24 elders. Because I got an insight about the true nature of the 24 elders that was so shocking and so revealing to me that it was mind-blowing. And after this, I looked, and lo, in the heaven, an open door. And at first, the voice which I had heard speaking to me like a trumpet said, "Come up hither, I will show you what must take place after this." At once I was in spirit, and lo, a throne stood in the heaven, with one seated in the throne. And he who sat there appeared like jasper and cornelian, and round the throne was a rainbow that looked like an emerald. Around the throne were 24 thrones, and seated on the throne were 24 elders, clad in white garment with golden crown upon their head. And from the throne issue flashes of lightning. Now, I'm gonna stop here, because what I wanted to verify in the insight I had during the meditation is that throne room with he who sits in the throne and the 24 elders that surround the throne of grace is a mandala. There's no question about it. It's a mandala. Okay? And more to the point, nowhere in the text that I just read did it say that the 24 elders were 24 kings or men. Because the reference in all liturgical texts that are trying to explain this passage, they are saying that there are 24 kings. I am submitting to you that it is not true. They are kings and queens at every direction of the clock. The same way it is in Tibetan Buddhism, where it is a Buddha and its consort and the dakinis. The dakinis are the messengers of emptiness. And they're feminine in nature, and sometimes they're incarnated as real women. And the dakini holds the code for knowledge, for wisdom, and for anything that from that distant place in the throne room, they bring the information to us. They are the messengers that bring the information to us. And I can tell you that the download and the insight I had that the 24 elders were not all male, that came from a dakini. Because I was on the part doing the meditation. I ran back home to open the Bible to read it again. And I don't believe I ever read anywhere in the actual liturgy or the actual text. Nowhere did I see that they said they were all male. They just said they were elders. Elders could be female or male. This really blew me away because it opened up a whole different way of looking at the nature of God. Because the church, the interpretation that we have from the church of this passage, and the church has been terribly skewed by the patriarchy for the past 2,000 years, since the meeting at Nicaea in 325 AD. It's terribly skewed. So because of that experience, because of that alteration and that shift, then suddenly it completely altered our experience. Any question, any comments that you may have so far? I want to share with you the actual text from the Bardo Todo prayers that I'm saying for this man that has allowed me the insight. Because I was saying it for the past 4 and tomorrow's will be the 5th day, and here is the text that I've been saying for him. And every day a Buddha would show up in a different direction. Okay, it begins by saying homage to the Guru, Yudam, and Dakinis. With their love, may they lead us on the path. When through confusion, I, or name the person, in this case, in the name of the person who is deceased, wander in samsara on the undistracted light path of studies, reflection, and meditation. May the Guru of the sacred lineage go before me, their consort, the host of the dakini behind me, and help me cross the Bardo's dangerous path and bring me into the perfect Buddha state. When through intense ignorance, I wander in samsara on the luminous light path of Dharma 2, wisdom, may blessed Vyarokana go before me, his consort, the queen of Varja, space behind me, and help me to cross the Bardo's dangerous path and bring me into the perfect Buddha state. When through intense aggression, I wander in samsara on the luminous path of the mirror-like wisdom, may blessed Vajrasattva go before me, his consort, Buddha Lokana behind me, and help me cross the Bardo's dangerous pathways and bring me into the perfect Buddha state. When through intense pride, I wander in samsara on the luminous light path of wisdom, equality, may blessed Ratma Sambhava go before me, his consort, Mamaki behind me, and help me cross the Bardo's dangerous path and bring me into the perfect Buddha state. When through intense desire, I wander in samsara on the luminous light path, discriminating wisdom, may blessed Amitabha go before me, his consort, Pandaravasini behind me, and help me cross the Bardo's dangerous path and bring me into a perfect Buddha state. When through intense envy, I wander in samsara on the luminous light path of action accomplishing wisdom, may blessed Amoghasiddhi go before me, his consort Samayatara behind me, and help me cross the Bardo's dangerous path and bring me into the perfect Buddha state. When through strong unconscious tendencies, I wander in samsara on the luminous light path of innate wisdom. May Vyadara warrior go before me, their consort hosts of the dakini behind me, and help me cross the boundless dangerous pathways and bring me into the perfect Buddha state. When through fierce confusion, projection, I wander in samsara, on the light path of abandoning all fear, may the Blessed One, peaceful and wrathful, go before me, host of the dakini, queen of space behind me, and help me cross the boundless dangerous path and bring me into the perfect Buddha state. May the element of space not rise as an enemy. May I see the realm of the blue Buddha. May the element of water may not rise against me. May I see the realm of the white Buddha. May the element of earth not rise as an enemy. May I see the realm of the yellow Buddha. May the element of fire not rise as an enemy. May I see the realm of the red Buddha. May the element of air not rise as an enemy. May I see the realm of the green Buddha. May the rainbow element not rise against me. May I see the realm of all of the Buddhas. May the sounds, lights, and rays not rise as enemies. May I see the infinite realm of the peaceful and the wrathful one. May I know the sounds as my own sound. May I know the light as my own light. May I know the rays as my own ray. May I spontaneously know the Bardo as myself. And may I attain the realm of the three kayas. Now, I want to explain a couple of things in there, in this prayer, that when they're talking, if you notice at every direction and every location, they talk about a Buddha and also a consort, a female consort, and often a dakini. The dakinis are the messengers that sends the wisdom from this pair into the world. Okay? And also they keep talking about samsara over and over again. Samsara, in every line there is samsara. Samsara is a wheel. And in this instance, it means the wheel of death and rebirth. So for you to be able to awake from this wheel of death and rebirth, you have to, in other words, what I'm trying to say here is that the clock is not really a clock. I'm using it as a vernacular that we know. What it really is a mandala. It's a sacred geometry. And that sacred geometry, if you do it correctly by gazing, the same way you gaze at the nape of your neck, by gazing in the different direction, it will begin to not only connect to the part of yourself that, let's say, is at 12 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 6 o'clock. It will not only connect to them, but the final piece of this prayer and meditation that have been downloaded for so many years now is for us to call upon the pair of cosmic beings that are at that very location at the throne room of God, because that experience of the 24 elders in Revelation chapter 4, that is the mandala of all mandala. It's the mandala where God is in its throne room. And therefore, by calling upon the Buddha and the consort and the dakini that exists at these different locations, we will begin to seal in their power, and they will gift us the presence, the wisdom, and the presence, the wisdom, and the power that they know. And we will be complete in our remembrance of who we are. Again, as I said, for me, the major breakthrough is to realize that unlike what the interpretation of that passage of the Bible has always been for me, and for every text that I've read online, anywhere, the 24 elders were 24 men that surround the throne of grace. In any other tradition, they are not all men. They are a pair of beings. In the Gnostic tradition, they call this pair of beings eons, and they are male and female. And they exist the central sun. It makes sense. Divine masculine has to connect with divine feminine. But the female energy was taken out and extracted out by a patriarchal, by the church fathers trying to create an institution that will give men more power. Any questions, any comments that you may have? Truth is truth, no matter what the belief system is. The Gnostic tradition has it. The Buddhist tradition has it. The Hindu tradition has it. And even our own Judeo-Christian tradition has it. But it was camouflaged, it was sanitized to look in a very specific way to match to finesse it in a way that would match the institution that these princes of the church were trying to create. Any questions, any comments? Okay, so what I want to do is that I'm trying to make you understand. So when we do the merger, we ask for I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christ itself and with the 12 Christed aspect of me that compose this. Let's say direction is at 12 o'clock. Then right behind it, we ask for please share and merge with me the wisdom, the virtue, the wisdom, and the power that you know. Then after that, I release all attachments, all fears, and all control, and I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. We're going to be adding, may the Buddha, consort, and dakini that exists, whatever the direction is, let's say 12 o'clock, share with me the presence, the wisdom, and the power that they know. May I find safe passage through the Bardo. And we're going to do this all around the clock. And why are we doing this? Because if you keep doing this, it's going to create, when you're done with the meditation, a presence in you that will bring you into the now. You will stop with the reverie and you will begin to become true fixed design, and you will begin to know you, as a sovereign being. And whether you are going through the Bardo of the transition that we're moving through, or you're dreaming, or you're going in meditation, or it's the Bardo of becoming, the Bardo of of Dharmata, the Bardo of the moment before death, it doesn't matter. You will move to all of the Bardo without passing out. Because when you pass out and you awaken, when the imagery begin to awaken your consciousness. It creates a projection of all your fears, and you get confused and you get lost, and you have no way of guiding your consciousness into the right path. That's why it's a dangerous passage when we're in Bardo. And more to the point, we as the way shower, when the 3 days of darkness come, at the moment where we are ready to transition into the new earth, when the 3 days of darkness arrive, we will not be able to be in the proper awareness unless we are capable of achieving that kind of, if we all of us, the 144,000, were supposed to be the way shower for humanity, if we pass out like the rest of humanity and awaken on the other side with all these scary experiences, we are not going to be able to guide anyone. The point of doing this exercise so that in our dream state, we now can awaken. And the point in the dream state, it's not about lucid dreaming. It's actually about not passing out while you transition from one state of being into the other. You don't want to go unconscious. You remain alert and aware. Yes, other things are visually going, but you're completely aware of this is still me transitioning into something else. That's the point. And that practice of becoming aware all the way through, instead of being unconscious tendency on emptiness, you become conscious, because that unconscious tendency in the dream state, the Buddhists liken it to being like an animal, where you surrender everything and you're completely knocked out. And they are saying it's like being incarnated as an animal in the animal realm. You need to be awake, and the awakeness allow you to practice what they call natural light, which is to remain awake or alert enough where, and with little practice, it does occur where you begin to go, as you're falling asleep, or because we go to sleep at least once every 24 hours. And as you're going to sleep, as you're passing out, your awareness will shift into something else.
It's kind of, Pierre, reminds me like being the witness, continue being the witness. When you observing yourself in your dreams, and you observing the fact that there are dreams, you're not part of the story. You're just witnessing that.
And you're witnessing yourself, you're witnessing every experiences that you have, you're just present.
Right.
In all experiences of all the Bardo, we should be conscious. But remember, the purpose is for conscious immortality.
It's another way to see yourself as being a witness.
Yeah. Any other question, any other comments? So you all got that concept. I'm going to assume, since you're not asking any question, either you're processing because your mind got blown and your brain is all over the walls, or you got it completely and you're all on board and you understood everything I said. What are you saying, Marjorie? You don't have what? I don't understand what you're saying. You don't have sound? You're not hearing us? Go out and come back again.
Yeah, I understand the concept, the meaning of personal, on a personal level, the Buddhist references don't have as much meaning to me.
Yes. This is why I'm bringing it to the 24 elders. This is why I'm saying to you that that passage from Revelation number 4, I read it, part of it is that's a mandala.
Right. So, but the Buddha, the consort, and the dakini,
yes,
how do they translate in?
The Buddha and its consort is 2 elders.
And the dakini?
The dakini, the dakini is all messenger. It doesn't translate in our teaching. It's not in there. In Buddhism, they are big because they are the one that manifest everything. The code to all the wisdom in the universe is held by the dakini. When you have a download, and you can experience this because you've been meditating for years. When you have a major insight and there's a breakthrough and there's an aha, it's a dakini that's bringing that information. And they are female by nature because they are messengers of emptiness. And emptiness is female. It's the divine womb.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Here, Esther, here.
Esther.
When I think of, well, I mean, what this is bringing forth for me is the critical aspect of discernment in all parts of our work and what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's alert or reflective, it just points out that there's no substitute for that in us doing it for ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yes, yes. Yes, we can't allow, because it's very easy to, because there's so many terrifying things that are happening in the world that's above our pay grade. It's very easy for us to withdraw. I was sharing with you last class that during the Second World War, the MGM and all these major movie studios created this golden age of Hollywood with these incredible Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall and all these beautiful actors and actresses, and this ideal situation where everything was wonderful. Bob Hope and created all these movies that were in Tahiti as an escape, because reality was so tough. The world was on the brink of killing. We're on the brink of destroying each other, which we're about to do right now. So people withdrew in fantasy. Right now, we are going into meta world. You know, this Facebook is changing its platform to become completely visual. This alternate reality, this thing you put in your eyes that will give you an identity. You can buy money, you can do this and all that. It's all in a fantasy world, in a computerized world. It's like being inside the matrix when the rest of the world around you is happening and you're ignoring it. So you're right. It's this idea of being embodied, being completely embodied. And again, it's not the practice they call natural light is not about being lucid in dreams. It's not about, it's about a very specific state. In Carlos Castaneda teaching, he calls this the second attention. It's a different way of being aware. You're walking around and you're so embodied that you're present with everything that you're doing. You can feel your feet on the ground moving. You can feel the wind against you. You hear the sounds differently. You see differently, and you're so attentive and so aware. It's the kind of awareness that happens when you're transitioning from your dream, from being awake and going into dream where you're new. And the way it happens when this transition, because I started redoing, I haven't taught this class in 20 years. I just started doing it again. And what happens is that you begin to slowly have visual experiences, okay? But what happens is that typically we pass out as they are beginning to occur. But if you keep your alertness in a very specific way through all of the three exercises I've shown you, including the one I'm going to show you now, what's going to happen is that you will begin to realize there's this image and there's that leads into this other image and then eventually leads you into a dream. You will be aware all the way through. Carlos Castaneda, his teacher Don Juan, had first asked him, and he talks about this in this book called The Art of Dreaming. Don Juan had asked him first thing to do in his dream is for him to find his hands. And he spent 3 years, to try as he may, he could never find his hand in his dream. And when he went back to Don Juan and said, I can't find my hands. I've tried all the, because when you find your hand and you're conscious, I'm looking at my hand, you're awake, you become lucid. And Don Juan said, that wasn't the assignment. It's a trick. He said, the assignment was not about lucidity. It's not about you becoming lucid in the dream. It's to fall asleep while still being awake. To be conscious when you go from one phase and to the next, to know when you're entering the dream and how you're entering the dream. All these traditions point to the same thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Any question, any comments? All right. Since the meditation we're going to do is a long meditation, I'm going to ask you to take a 5-minute break, go get some water, and then we'll do the closing meditation. This is the upgraded monadic merger. 5 minutes. Take a very deep and slow breath. And as you inhale and exhale deeply and slowly, allow the universal life force that permeates everything to enter into your lungs. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And let your soul and your awareness drop in the middle of your chest. Please forgive me. I love you, and I let go. Please forgive me. I love you, and I let go. I become aware of my monad and mighty I am presence. I ask for complete and total merger with my Christed self and with the 12 Christed aspects of me. That compose this. I am that I am. I become aware of my Christed over self body that exists at 12 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you, and I let go. I ask for complete and total merger with my Christ itself and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me. The virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. May the Buddha, consort, and dakinis that exists at 12 o'clock share with me the presence, the wisdom, and the power that they know. I become aware of my cross-state over self body that exists at 1 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my cross-state self and with the 12 cross-state aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. May the Buddha, consort, and dakinis that exist at 1 o'clock share and merge with me the wisdom, the presence, and the power that they know. I become aware of my Christ of a self body that exists at 2 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you, and I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christ itself and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. May the Buddha, consort, and dakinis that exist at 2 o'clock share with me the presence, the wisdom, and the power that they know. And become aware of my Christ of a self body that exists at 3 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christ itself and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. May the Buddha, consort, and dakini that exist at 3 o'clock share and merge with me the presence, the wisdom, and the power that they know. I become aware of my Christed over self body that exists at 4 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christ itself and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the wisdom and the virtue and the power that you know. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. May the Buddha, consort, and dakinis that exist at 4 o'clock share with me the presence, the wisdom, and the power that they know. I become aware of my Christed over self body that exists at 5 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you, and I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christed self and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. May the Buddha's consort and dakini that exist at 5 o'clock share and merge with me the presence, the wisdom, and the power that they know. I become aware of my Christ and over self body that exists at 6 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christ itself and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that composes. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. May the Buddha, consort, and dakini that exist at 6 o'clock share and merge with me the presence, the wisdom, and the power that they know. I become aware of my Christed over self body that exists at 7 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christed self and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. I become aware of my Christed may the Buddha, the dakini, and the consort that exist at 7 o'clock share and merge with me the power, the presence, and the wisdom that they know. I become aware of my Christed over self body that exists at 8 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you, and I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christed self and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. May the Buddha, consort, and dakini that exists at 8 o'clock share with me the presence, the wisdom, and the power that they know. I become aware of my Christed over self body that exists at 9 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you, and I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christed self and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. May the Buddha, consort, and dakinis that exist at 9 o'clock share with me the presence, the wisdom, and the power that they know. I become aware of my Christed over self body that exists at 10 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you and I let go. I ask for complete and total merger with my Christed self and with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am. Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. May the Buddha, consort, and dakini that exists at 10 o'clock share and merge with me the presence, the wisdom, and the power that they know. I become aware of my Christed over self body that exists at 11 o'clock. Please forgive me. I love you and I let go. I ask for a complete and total merger with my Christed self or with the 12 Christed aspects of me that compose this. I am that I am.
Please share and merge with me the virtues, the wisdom, and the power that you know. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. May the Buddha consort in dakini that exists at 11 o'clock share and merge with me the presence, the wisdom, and the power that they know. In the throne room of God, I stand aligned to the presence, the axis, of the all-knowing, all-giving, power, that everything emanates from, and everything converged to. I am fixed design. Take a very deep and slow breath. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, Pierre.
You're welcome, Janice. You're welcome.
I hope there was a shift for you, as this is an upgrade of the monadic merger. Hello?
Oh, yeah, Pierre, I felt the shift at 12 o'clock in the Pinell area. It was significant. And then at 6 o'clock and at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock was more of the lower parts of the body, like the feet, legs, ankles. But I could feel the energy rearranging and moving around. Right. Thank you, Pierre. I haven't done it twice today. It's the second this time around. It was I saw more images and colors and lights. It was very beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. The key to this is that it is going to create a certain kind of presence, a kind of alertness that's going to make everything, even in your awakened state, sharper, and you're going to be more embodied. because the Buddhas and the consort and the dakinis are nothing more. It's different nomenclature. It's the 24 elders. In the Gnostic Bible, they talk about the eons that exist in the central sun. Where the creating principle, male and female, that manifested everything.
Mhm.
It's the exact same thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for participating in the class. Thank you to all my supporters on Patreon and all of you listening to me on Facebook. Subscribe, like this video, and share it with your friends. Thank you, everyone. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.